Hey yo, peepadoo, Shaxa here once again, but this time with a crafting video. I've been getting this question a lot. How do you craft the body armor that you have? And, well, it involves some luck and some crafting, and at least I can provide you the information about the crafting. I prepared a guide step by step explaining at what point what to do, what to go for, and what you need. And basically, we have two options: to self-craft the Explodey and then to buy the Explodey mod. And I will be going through both of these options and talk about them a bit more. And the basic things to know before crafting is that you don't want to use orbs of binding to make your 6 links rare, because you'll end up with an item like this instead of a 6 link. So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, next, Craft of Exile. It is a very useful tool to have because, well, frankly, without this, it would be a guessing game, pretty much. Like, you can see all the mods, all the item levels required for these mods to be rolled. The elevated mods, you can see what they are, what they do. So this is a huge thing, and yeah, you should be familiar with that if you aren't yet. We have 2 orbs that we need for crafting this kind of a body armor, and that is an Awakener's Orb and an Orb of Dominance, right? So, the Awakener's Orb, what it does, it takes 1 influence mod from item number 1 and destroys that base. Takes 1 influence mod from item number 2 and keeps that base. So, click 1, destroy, click 2, keep, right? Then your new item becomes double influenced, meaning it can roll modifiers from both influences. And so after the second click, your new item is re-rolled once, keeping 2 selected influence modifiers from your prepared bases, which in our case will be Explodey and +1 active skill gems. And that is why you want to make sure that you only have 1 influence mod on each. No one saw anything from each item before using this orb, right? The other orb is Orb of Dominance. If you have more than 1 influence modifier, it removes 1 influence modifier while upgrading the other mod, which is why you only want 2 influence modifiers when using this orb for a 50-50% chance of success, right? It is used to elevate mods beyond tier 1, and you can check out Craft of Exile to see what elevated mods looks like for different mods if you are curious or need to know about that. And then a quick example here for this Explodey crafting purpose: you have tier 1 Explodey and any tier of any other influence mod. You use an Orb of Dominance and you have a 50% chance to elevate or completely remove the Explodey, right? Okay, so that out of the way, let's go into crafting. So option number 1, let's go through self-crafting the Explodey. It is a slower method, but most of the time it is cheaper. It depends on your RNG. Okay, so step 1, buy elevated or just normal +1 to level of socket active skill gems. Very important, make sure that it has only 1 influence and it is shaper. If it has matching corner icons, it is good. If it has different corner icons, it is bad. So let's see, what am I talking about here? So this is the elevated +1 active skill gems. I bought a base like this. It was just 5 chaos, and then I used an Orb of Dominance, and lucky me, first try, I got the elevated +1 active skill gems. Right, and as you can see here, both corners have those little red stars, and if you would look at my double influence body armor, it has a star on the left and then a Crusader's icon on the right. So if it has, something like that, different influence types, it is bad because you cannot awaken or orb them with another item anymore. Okay, so what's next? Step 2, get a 6-link sacrificial garb item level 100, or you can buy 4 the sacrifice cards. Yes, I do have that right here, level 100, 6-linked, ready to be crafted. Next, step 3. Add Crusader influence with a Crusader's Exalted Orb, right? So we want to roll Explodey here. We have Crusader's Exalted Orb, and we just wanna bada bang, bada boom. Yep, we got physical damage from hits taken as lightning. It is not Explodey, not tier 1. It doesn't matter what it is. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could roll some suffixes, like use an essence to guarantee some suffix, or use an essence of greed to guarantee life, get some suffixes, and then open prefix, and then you slam, you have a chance of getting Explodey. It's so unlikely to happen though. I mean, it's possible, so maybe you should. Anyway, I did this. I actually did only have open prefixes, so technically I did it efficiently. But anyway, so let's go into crafting the next step. So this is the conditional point, whether you want to go elevated or non-elevated explode mod. And if you do want to go elevated mod, it's gonna be a lot harder, it's gonna be a lot more expensive, a lot more time consuming as well, because your objective is to get tier 1 Explodey, right? And one more influence mod. If you have more than one, you have to annul. But you want one more. And then you want to use Orb of Dominance. If this fails, you have to roll again. Right? So just that is like quite a bit of pain champ if you fail multiple times in a row. Right? But how do you get to the point where you have multiple influence modifiers? Well, the recommended and like best, most efficient way of crafting it is alt spamming until you have tier 1 Explodey. And then you craft prefixes cannot be changed and imprint. But if you don't have an open suffix, which does happen a lot of the time, right? You have to imprint the item then and then annul until you have an open suffix. Basically, like you get the mod, tier 1 mod with something bad on the suffix, you imprint, you annul if it fails, if it annuls, if it removes the Explodey, you have to use the imprint to bring it back and then imprint it again. And this is like 1 divine per try or something like that. And then you keep doing that, imprinting, re-imprinting until you have Explodey and an open suffix, right? And then we can continue with the step 4, which is this. So we craft prefixes cannot be changed, and then we imprint, right? It locks the 2 divine craft and the tier 1 Explodey on the prefix. Then we go to harvest reforge critical. That guarantees an influence mod, I think power charge on crit on the suffix. Use an Orb of Dominance, 50-50 chance. Yeah, if you get lucky, you get lucky. If you don't get lucky, if you get unlucky, well, you can fail quite a few times, but hopefully you don't. You hit it first try. Hopefully that would make this experience a lot nicer, right? So if you fail the elevation, use the imprint to go back to a magic item with tier 1 explode, and crafted prefixes cannot be changed. This is why we want to craft this and imprint before elevating, because, well, this saves 2 divines every time you have to do it. And then you have to just repeat the Harvest Reforged crit, Orb of Dominance. If you fail, you do it again, right? Use the imprint, yada. But if you do succeed, finally, after however many tries you have to do, you proceed to step 5, right? So, first of all, we have to roll it. I will not be rolling with alterations. I despise alteration crafting, so I'm not gonna go for this. If I do get lucky and hit double influence mods, I will try to elevate, but I will just focus on getting tier 1 Explodey right now. And the 2 crafting options are Harvest Reforged Fizz and then Jagged Fossils from Delve. And this is the most like convenient and simplest way of crafting with Harvest, because you just go into the Horde crafting station, you click on including physical, Reforge including physical, it's 50 life force per try, and then you just craft. And you just mash that button, like so, until you hit Explodey. And, well, ideally, until you hit Explodey tier 1, and maybe another mod. Okay, so there's Explodey. It is tier 2, unfortunately. Nothing good, so we have to keep going. And this could take a while. This could take quite a few divines. I invested 3 divines into the life force. Got 9,600-ish life force. So it's quite a few tries, but you can get lucky, you can get unlucky. So far, I've crafted only a few of these body armors, and I got unlucky every time. Every time I got kinda scuffed RNG on these, while other people have reported some pretty good RNG here with a Reforged Fizz. Oh, well, never mind. There you go. You see? If you never try, never win. And there is tier 1 Explodey. It doesn't have any other influence modifiers, but that is okay. And this didn't even take that long, actually. So, okay, now all of my bad RNG has piled up, and now we get some good luck. And this didn't even cost me 1 divine to get this. Very nice indeed. And yeah, so at this point, okay, I got the tier 1 Explodey. We have to move to step 5, right? Whew. Okay, So, oh, I didn't cover how to, right. I didn't cover the non-elevated option. So your objective is to get tier 1 and only tier 1, no other influence modifiers. And then you harvest Reforged Fizz, the simplest and most convenient way. I guess I did cover this right in Jagged Fossils. It's just more clicking. Technically, it's also good, and it's also better for trying to elevate, but it's so much clicking, right? Because you have to unstack the resonators, right? Then you have to stack them, and then you have to click, right? So you have so much time wasted doing this nonsense that it's not a nice experience. Yep. And then you get tier 1 Explode, proceed to step 5. If you hit another influence mod, Orb of Dominance, good luck, profit, right? Like, simple stuff at this point, nothing too crazy. We got the tier 1 Explode, let's move to step 5. Use Awakener's Orb. First, click on the bad base, it will be destroyed. Second, click on the good base, in this case, the 6-link Sacrificial Garb. It will be kept as the host for all of the mods, right? So this is a conditional point RNG check. So let's first of all do the Awakener Orb craft. So first click, bad base that we will destroy. Second click, good base that we want to keep. Boom. Okay. That is an interesting outcome. So, okay, let's go into the written guide, and actually that outcome is okay. So RNG check. If you got lucky and you got more influence mods, you should consult with your local streamer whether you should proceed to further steps or do something else, right? So I did actually get another influence mod, and I got flat dexterity with percent dexterity, which is actually kind of cool. It does say tier 4 dexterity, oh my god, not dexterity, intelligence. I got flat intelligence and percent intelligence, and it does say tier 4, but it's lying. It is tier 2 intelligence, and it is pretty cool because it has the flat and percent for instacking builds. But +1, I don't know. Yeah. See. Whoops. I don't know. What's going on here? Yeah, it doesn't exist. What about non-that? Okay, no. Okay, what's this? Let's check. So that's ready for elevation, right? And then this one is meh. Okay, right. Well, I am the local streamer, and I have to consult myself, I suppose, on what to do here. And it's interesting. And I think I have to... Okay, you know what? Actually, yeah, I think you just do that. Craft percent attributes. And that's an interesting body armor. Like, I don't know if this will sell... I mean, it will sell... If anything, it will sell for just the +1 and Explodey, if I put it cheap enough, right? But will it sell for the actual value that I see in it? I am not sure. I will see after a few days, right? If it doesn't sell, I might just finish crafting as I wanted to craft in the guide. But since my plans are ruined, goddamn streamer client, it's not crazy, but it's something cool, right? So I'll leave that, and basically... Well, it's kind of pointless continuing here because I will not be able to show anything. So these last steps are the same on both options, so it's not that big of a deal because we will be crafting another one with the option number 2, which is buying the Explodey mod. It is faster but potentially more expensive. It depends on the price of the elevated Explodey. And this one cost me 14 divines, and I think 14 divines for elevated Explodey is pretty good. It's I mean, it saves me the dreadful experience of crafting it. That's one thing. And then on average, I think the price is on average pretty much that. Like if it's 50-50, right, you technically it's 1 and 2. technically. You can get unlucky and fail multiple times, and that feels terrible. But basically, I think 14 divines were actually worth paying for this, so I bought it. And now let's go to the second option, right? How do we craft if we buy elevated Explodey? So you buy the elevated or tier 1 Explodey on any body armor base, right? Doesn't matter what base. But very important, make sure that it has only one influence again. And if it has matching corner icons, good. If different, no, right? The same thing applies. And this has only Crusader. Beautiful. Okay, good. That is a good base. Then you also have to get a 6-link Sacrificial Garb, 6-link, 100. You can use the cards as in the previous option, right? And I do have this as well here. But this is a bit different. This is where it becomes a little bit different in terms of crafting the influence. We want to add any influence with the cheapest influenced Exalted Orb. So the cheapest one that I bought was 35 Chaos with the Redeemer's Exalted Orb. Let's add the influence. Boom. +1 socketed support gems. Pretty cool, but we don't need this because this is a bad influence for us. So step 4 is harvest craft randomize influence type until you get shaper influence, right? So you go to your Horde crafting station again, type in influence, and you have this craft 1,000 blues, randomize the influence types. Click that, boom. That's a hunter, that's bad. Warlord, Elder, Warlord, Crusader, Hunter. Okay, I'm getting unlucky here. Elder, Warlord, Redeemer, Warlord, Crusader, Elder. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I will come back shortly after buying some juice. Okay, there it is. 1 divine, 7,150. So we get 7 tries per 1 divine. Hopefully this time it's gonna work out better. I'm probably just missing 1 more reforge, right? Randomize. Redeemer, Elder, Crusader, Shaper. Alright, finally. God damn, that was unlucky. That ate 2.5 divines. Well, this... Okay, so here I got unlucky. Like, I literally just got unlucky here. This part, unfortunately. Okay, but I did get it. I did get it. Okay, I did get it. So now we can move to step number 5. Conditional point. If we want to elevate or non-elevated, +1 to level of socketed active skill gems. And right, so if you want elevated, you have to roll for +1 and another influence mod, then use Orb of Dominance. If failed, roll again, use Orb of Dominance again, right? If you are going for non-elevated, +1 active skill gems, which, especially if you're on like a stricter budget, you should not go for these elevated mods, especially not elevated +1, because it gives you 5% AoE. Like, it does help, like, in the later stages, it does help you push over to the next threshold for AoE, but it's good, but not necessary, basically, right? So if you're going for non-elevated, you want to at least go for +1, no other influence mods, and then proceed to step 6. So how do we roll this? Well, this +1 is a bit tricky. Well, not tricky. It doesn't have any tags, like we cannot target with harvest or fossils or anything, right? It's just a prefix +1 active skill gems. Well, okay, it is a gem. It does have a gem tag. You could roll them with the faceted fossils, but they are 3 for 1 divine. So no, don't do that. Right. So I think the most efficient way of doing this is just rolling essences, like the cheap essences that you don't care about. And I guess ideally a suffix, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Just use this. Okay, there it is. We rolled +1 active skill gems, really good region, resistances, evasion, but no other influence mods. So do I keep going? I think I will. I'm like not completely broke. Like normally, this is okay to stop at, right? But we want to go one step further. We want to try to elevate this. At least one try. At least one try. So again, I could do try to do prefixes cannot be changed and then reforge crit or something, but that's 2 divines. I really don't think that's good. I have a bunch of cheap essences, so I'll just keep spamming until I hit 2 mods and then try to elevate. Let's type in active for easier search. Oh, there we go, +1 active. But again, no other influence mods. Sadly, we go again. Keep going. It's not that hard to hit +1 active skill jumps. It's actually not that rare. Oh, +1 active. But again, no other influence mods. We keep going. Okay, +1 active again. No other influence mods. Oh, come on, man. +1 active skill gems again. But nope. +1. Oh, okay. This time it has physical damage taken as lightning. It is time for a Gamba. Orb of Dominance. Bada bang, bada boom. And I did succeed. Very nice, very nice. This nice. It is good. It is good. It is very good. Okay, so what happens now? If you want to elevate +1 active skill gems, your objective is to get +1 skill gems and 1 more influence mod. We did that. Then use Orb of Dominance. I did that. It failed. Roll again, but I did not fail, which means... So if succeed, go to step 6. I was missing that. Okay, so what is step 6? Use Awakener's Orb. First click on the bad base, it will be destroyed. Second click on the good base, it will be the base to keep. Right. So, Awakener's Orb. First click on the bad base with elevated Explodey. It will be destroyed. And then the second click is on the elevated +1 active skill gems. Good base. What do we get? We got... Okay. Well, okay. Unlucky, but not that bad. So, the RNG check. We did not get any other influence mods. We don't need to consult with any streamers. So, we go back to average RNG, right? If you have an open prefix, go to step 7. If you don't have an open prefix, go to step 8. And in this case, I will just quickly glance over what happens if you do have an open prefix. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but there it is. So, step 7. Filling up the prefixes is your goal. So, craft prefixes cannot be changed. That's 2 divines. And then harvest reforged life for potential life. And this reforge is a bit risky because you could fill up all the suffixes as well. But this is cheaper to do and technically higher potential because if you roll tier 1 life, beautiful. Right? And then the other option would be to craft prefixes cannot be changed and Ashling Slam. And then you would be trying to get a veiled prefix. Right? That's 58% chance to get 10% increased life, which is almost as good as crafted life. It's slightly better. So it's like probably equivalent to 70-ish life. It's okay. And then the other mods are also not terrible. Like you have block and avoid being stunned and stuff like that. It's not terrible by any means. Right, if you do get a veiled prefix, you proceed to step 8. If you do get a veiled suffix, then it's a bit problematic because you have to spend more money. And then you need to get rid of that veiled mod, which is prefixes cannot be changed, scour the item, leaving you with only the prefixes again. And then you have to repeat step 7. Yes, you have to fill up the prefixes again. Try to with either the Ashling or the Reforged Life. But if you're going for the Ashling, you just have to repeat it a few times until you hit the prefix veil. Okay, we do have all of our prefixes full, which means that we have to go to step 8. Getting percent spell critical strike chance. How do we do that? We craft prefixes cannot be changed, harvest reforged caster, and then we have a conditional RNG check again. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. So this is going to be 2 divines for the craft. Prefixes cannot be changed. 2 divines right here. Boom. And then we go for reforge caster. That's cheap. Okay, I'm clicking it. Prefixes cannot be changed. Yep. Boom. Okay, so... Okay. It's actually not bad. So this is the point where you have to check. And what do we have? So conditional point, spell crit tier. If you got tier 1 spell crit chance, proceed to step 9. And we did get that, so we could proceed. But if you get tier 2 spell crit, you have to repeat step 8. Right? Which is prefixes cannot be changed, reforge caster. But if you got tier 2 spell crit and no open suffixes, so you cannot craft the prefixes cannot be changed, that is a rip. And you either have to use a very risky orb of annulment, or you have to sell that body armor and craft again from step 1, right? So lucky for me, I got the tier 1 crit first try, and I also have an open suffix. So let's go to step number 9, filling up the suffixes. If you have 2 open suffixes, craft hybrid intelligence and strength to block these 2 mods, and then Exile Slam, craft the last suffix, and your baby is done. In my situation, let's see. How many suffixes do we have open? We have spell crit, we have resistance, and empty. So we have 1 open suffix. In this case, I cannot block anything and slam. The only thing that's left to do is just craft what you need, and your body armor is done. And then if you have 0 open suffixes, well, it's done, right? You cannot do anything except for annul, very risky annuls and stuff like that. So not recommended. But yeah, so yeah, that's how you craft this. It involves some knowledge about crafting. It involves quite a bit of luck, actually. Yeah, because now if you fill up the suffixes, the item is done or almost dead. If you annul, it can be dead, right? It could annul the Explodey, for example, and that would be really, really bad. But yeah, just craft Fire Cold, I suppose, and the body armor is done. It's not ideal, it's not GG, but it is pretty damn good. That's it. It's pretty simple. I hope that this guide that I wrote is gonna help some people maybe craft this cheaper than buying it for 30, 40, 50 divines. And yeah, maybe someone will hit some crazy results with like tier 1 life, with tier 1 spell crit, maybe something even like tier 1 dexterity, tier 1 item rarity on the suffix. Good luck. I wish you good luck. That was it for the video. Catch you in the next one, and don't forget to join the twitch.tv/Shaksu. I'm gonna be crafting some upgrades for the build. Yes, pushing to level 100 still. I'm at like 58%. All right, enough shameless advertisement. Bye. Ciao. Yes, goodbye. Close. Stop the video. Stop the video, god damn it. Stop recording. Stop recording. It's done. There is no point to keep people here. Go away. Go away. The video is done. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you... Why are you still here? Well, if you're still here, arigato. Thank you for your support, everyone. Big love, big kisses, big hugs. Yes, okay, bye-bye. Now for real, right, bye. Okay, bye. For real, this time, cut it.